and welcome to the Hoops and Dreams weekly QPR Preview Show. As you can see, this week Dave is away, so I've been joined by Matthew, who's going to be helping me to have a look ahead to the match with Swansea. But first, what a week. We're going to look back at the wins against Watford and Hull. 6 points out of 6, 3 goals scored in consecutive games for the first time in a year. Watford first, such a big win. The confidence and belief that's obviously given the team. 3 big points. Amazing scenes in the QPR end. Was it a deserved 3 points, Matthew?
Oh, very much so. I felt throughout the game with a better team in terms of having the ball, and we're just more precise with it, I think. And what got me about the team the most is once Watford got back in the game the first time, and even the second time, we didn't panic. We we stuck to the game plan, went for the third goal, and I thought we deserved it in the end, to be honest.
Yeah, some big refereeing decisions. Did you agree with either of their goals and the offside one? I think the third one they scored was offside, wasn't it? That was a correct one. But what about the second one? A lot of fans think it was a foul.
To be honest, I wasn't sure because Rob Dickey, I think there was no need for him to step in there because Senny came for the ball, and then Rob sort of got in his way, and then I'm thinking as he went to the ground, I thought there wasn't much in that, to be honest. So I don't know. The ref probably thought Dickey just sort of threw himself to the ground, and there was no foul. But yeah, I wasn't sure about that one. But yeah, third goal he scored was clear. You can see as the cross went in, he was already not offside position. He challenged for the header, and luckily it was. But it was a bit the way it just happened out of nowhere, the
Yeah,
offside. They celebrated, and then suddenly he just put his flag up like a minute later. It was a bit confusing, but I think luck was on our side.
yeah. It's kind of frustrating that we can play that well. I mean, a week ago I'm sat here discussing a draw with Rotherham, and then we follow it up with that. The QPR, they never cease to amaze.
It's QPR for you. We just seem to get results against teams that we're unlikely to beat, and then teams like Rotherham, you're thinking, okay, we should win that, but then we go and drop points there. So that's just a QPR way.
Yeah. Thankfully, we did follow it up on this occasion with the win at Hull, and what a first 30 minutes, 40 minutes that was. Yes, we couldn't quite maintain it, but it didn't really matter. We managed the game quite well, got a deserved 3 points. What impressed you most in the match against Hull?
Just the intensity that we was having, the pressing from the front. Um, I thought Johansson had his best game of the season so far. He was involved with two of the three goals, just winning the ball back, getting on the front foot, and yeah, I thought we had a great game. Same as Ethan Laird, Kenneth Powell. Thought he's growing each game. Kenneth, I thought he was great going forward. Got an assist as well. I think that's 2 assists he's got now in 2 games. So great for him. Um, Again, Chair and Willock finding pockets in their off, and we caused them so many problems. And I think Hull realised they had to bring on like Ryan Woods in the second half to shore up that midfield because we was terrorising in that area. So we completely dominated, and yeah, I think again thoroughly deserved, and again pressed with the just the high intensity and the fact that we backed it up, and it almost felt like we didn't take a day off in the Watford game. It felt that we went to the whole game straight after and just played the same way, and it was brilliant.
Yeah, you're right. You can see me nodding along. Everything you're saying there, I completely agree with. Just one of those matches where everything was clicking, especially in the first half. And it's amazing when you watch QPR when the other team literally can't cope with us. We don't get that very often, so we
Very
have to
rare.
enjoy. Yeah, so we have to enjoy those moments. It's the first time this year that we've won by more than a single goal since Reading in January. Usually we're hanging on, or you're never comfortable. So it was a good performance.
Yeah,
And I mean, it's just unbelievable. This time last week, literally on last week's show, we were talking, me and Dave, about having to defend Beale's position because there was a lot of criticism going. And 2 matches later, it's a completely different situation. Has he silenced all the doubters now for a while, do you think?
yeah. I fans are quite reactionary at times. They after a few results, and we never seem to give managers time, especially on social media. Um, like I felt after the Rotherham game, even though we didn't win the game, we created loads of chances, and I felt we were slowly clicking. And now in the previous two games, Watford and Hull, now we can show what we can do as a team, and hopefully we can just continue that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're beginning to see his style coming through. What you can see from the first match against Blackburn to the Hull match, you can see it's his team. It's becoming his team, his way of
Yeah,
playing. It wasn't as clear. Now it is. And long may it continue. And first and foremost, we have to hope it continues against Swansea. So let's look ahead to this weekend's match. It's a strange quirk of the fixture list where we're heading back to Swansea just 4 months since we were last there on the last day of last season. Last two visits, we've won 1-0. The match before that was 0-0. So you have to go back to 2018 for the last time we lost or even conceded at Swansea. So fingers crossed that's not a kiss of death. Now, it has to be said that Swansea were painful to watch last season. I gave them a lot of stick whenever I was on the podcast last year, how tedious they are. They kind of keep the ball for the sake of it rather than doing anything with it. Have you seen anything of them this season?
yeah. Otherwise, they've been quite, to be honest, especially at home, they haven't not doing at all. And I've been hearing that they're not getting the funds for transfers, so it's a bit of um, you know mediocrity between the manager and the board about transfers. So it's not all plain sailing there. So it's not been the greatest starts for Swansea, but you know you will see on the day. Really, we just have to, if we keep the same attitude and stick to the way we've been playing, then I think we just catch Swansea on their day and we can beat them.
Yeah, they had the worst goal difference in the league prior to the midweek round of fixtures, so they look like we can get at them. Are there any
Yeah.
players we have to be wary of?
Uh, to be honest, I'm not really sure. I think we can maintain their threat. To be honest, um, as I can see from their results, they don't score many goals. They haven't in the last couple of games. So as long as we don't give them a nice start, like if we start the opening 15 minutes like we did against Hull, which we all want really, then Swansea will just be penned in and they'll be so defensive. So the best thing to do is not let them get the upper hand in the first 15, 20 minutes and sort of gain the initiative, obviously control possession and play with the right intensity. So hopefully that's the case, but I don't really see any threats to be honest, but you know, you don't know with QPR.
Yeah. They've got Obafemi, haven't they? And there's a guy they got on loan from West Ham, Oko Flex, I think his name is, and he's really fast. And I suppose what they'll try and do is pass it around, draw us in, and then try and play him behind us with the pace. And obviously Hull tried that a few times last night and got their goal from doing that exact same thing. So hopefully
Yeah,
we're wary of that and know what we're doing. As
yeah.
for
What,
QPR, yeah. Go on, sorry, you go.
no, what I've seen this last couple of games is the high line we've been playing, and I'm slightly worried about that in terms of we're trying to play offside, but the championship we don't have the best officials. Let's be honest, and we're always playing that risk of one ball over the top. We're sort of, if it's tight, we're sort of hoping for the linesman to put his flag up, and some linesmen delay it, and the whole game you know, we thought it was offside, and then we switched off. So there's always that risk to switching off, and they could be on goal. So yeah,
Yeah, you're
see what
right. I mean, at this
highlight.
level, because we have VAR, don't have VAR. You're looking at it. If they play 10 balls, the linesman might get one wrong, and that's not that bad of an accuracy rate, but it's very costly, as we saw even with Hull. And luckily, that was
Yeah,
a consolation, wasn't it? But
yeah,
I have a suspicion we might be doing the same thing against Swansea, and just have to be very wary because they have got a few fast forwards that we need to keep
that's what
an eye
they'll
on.
do. That's what they'll do. They'll try running behind, and we'll try and catch offside as many as we can. So don't be surprised if it happens at least 3 or 4 times during the game.
Yeah. As for the QPR team, we know we're likely to be without Amos, Clark, Salter, and Richard now until after the international break. They may be fitter sooner, but he's not likely to risk them. And I've seen him speaking about using the international break as like a mini pre-season to get them ready, and it's probably wise. Do you expect any changes to the starting 11?
Well, they say team. They did do that after the Watford game. Um, Only slight concern is obviously Dykes. You know, Bill is being persistent with him. He's playing him, and there's no questioning Dykes' work rate at all. I think he worked so hard for the team, and you know, his confidence is just rock bottom at the moment. You can see from the chance he had against Hull. You know, you've got to store that, but with confidence, you sort of hesitate, and that's what he did. And but I think he's still this with Dykes. I think Armstrong is still not ready yet, in my opinion. I think he does need a loan. If we can get a loan for him before the end of the transfer window, then I think that would do good for his development. With Bond as well as an option, not too sure. Don't know if he's in the frame or not. So maybe a question Tyler Roberts might come in and start. I think he should be fully fit now after playing at least half an hour against Hull. So there could be changes there. Balogun can come in into a back three, so it could be a sort of change of formation and bring him in at the back. So you never know. There could be some changes, but I personally wouldn't mind if there isn't any changes. I think the confidence in the team now is really good, and just continue that throughout the week.
Yeah, he was able to give Willock 40 minutes rest. He took him off very early in the second half. He was able to rest Johansson, took Dykes off again. So the men who he knows he's going to need have been rested. So hopefully he can name the same starting 11. You mentioned Dykes there. He's becoming like a weekly topic we have to talk about on the show because he's just not scoring the goals. But he's not playing badly, is he? His all-round play, like Beale has said, he's doing a decent job. I think he needs to just, like you said, he's thinking about it too much. He needs to just literally smash a few shots and agree with the manager, look, I'm just going to smash them. And if they go in, because he keeps hesitating and like he did it when he was in the other match. I think it was the Blackpool or Rotherham one where the ball broke through to him and he was like, "Am I offside?" And he didn't. He should have just put it in the net um, and then waited for the decision. And last night he should have just put it in the net. But he seems to be just overthinking everything when he gets in the box.
Yeah, he is.
But he's not playing poorly, and I can see Beale sticking with him because if he drops him, that's going to hurt his confidence even more, isn't it? And whilst we've still got goals coming from the rest of the team, luckily it doesn't matter quite as much. So I'm sure
no, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, the midfield this week he's obviously switched it. He's swapped Field and Johansson around. A few of us have mentioned it on these podcasts. We couldn't understand why he didn't do that from the start. To be honest, Johansson's so much better pushing forward, being able to press, and he got 2 assists. And Andre Dazelle as well, very much improved. Do you think the Beale saying that he might have to bring in some other players has given them like a kick up the backside?
Well, you never know, but good to see. It's great. It's great to see Andre, sort of stepping up to the plate. He seems to be a lot more stronger in tackles as well, and much more forward passing. For the last couple of months, especially towards the end of last season, he was very negative in terms of he would play the simple pass rather than the forward pass, and he's doing that a lot last couple of games, and same with Johansson. I think we sort of seen him as a player he was when we got him on loan. Sort of tenacious and in the tackles, and as celebrating the goals, he's more passionate about celebrating the goals now. I see him in the Watford game when Adoma scored the winner. He was just so happy, and just to see that passion in him again, it's great to see. And yeah, I felt the midfield did great last night. Field, he always puts a shift in. He always does well in his own space. So yeah, very pleasing.
Yeah, Dazelle definitely he was grittier, more determined. I think he made more tackles in the last 2 matches that I could see than he'd made in pretty much the whole of last season. Just getting stuck in, like you said, and it was great to see because he gets a bit of stick. But there's definitely a very, very good player in there if we can stick with him. Last thing I want to touch on: there's no clean sheet yet. Obviously, that late Hull goal cost us the clean sheet. You could see Beale and the defenders were very annoyed. Is it a concern that we haven't kept a clean sheet, or have we just been unlucky?
I felt last night Hull were poor overall. I think their main striker Espinani, he had one chance in the first half, and second half he didn't have any chances. He weren't really involved. So we done pretty well defensively, but Hull didn't really create much. And to be fair to us, we kept our shape well when they were being reduced to long balls and sort of, hitting hope really. And what they did, they obviously broke the offside trap. And yeah, like I said, with the high line, it's always a risk of doing that. And when you play such a high line, there's always that chance of the game being end to end, and being that the games we've had this season, it's been loads of goals already. So there's always that risk of games where it could be 2-2 or 3-3. It's about stopping that sort of rot really. That we have to be not so open in transition. I think that's the main thing, especially with our wing backs going forward. I think the key is to try and get back into shape as quick as possible, and obviously holding the line well.
Yeah, well, Swansea, like I said before, we've not conceded their last three trips, so maybe this is the match where we'll keep the first clean sheet of the season.
Fingers crossed.
Final thoughts then, do you see us picking up another win?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're in a good mood at the moment. I think um, just the confidence I see in the team at the moment. I think we have our style of play now. You can see the players' attitude. You can see they're really they're really screwed on the style of play, and they're just in the passing. It's more precise. It's very quick. We just seem to know our style of play now. Like in the first few games, we just seemed a bit off, but now we're clicking now, and I feel that we'll continue that against Swansea, in my opinion. But yeah, fingers crossed. But I think we will.
Yeah, I
Say
agree.
one.
I
I
think
say
if
one.
yeah, I think if we can play like we did against Hull with that intensity, the pressing from the start, they're going to mess about with it in their half. We know what they do. They're going to pass it around, and if we can get right in their faces, get ahead, I think we could have a good afternoon. We shall see.
We shall
We'll
see.
see. Yeah, we'll see next week if we've made it 3 wins on the spin, and we'll be looking ahead to the matches with Huddersfield and Millwall. So the matches keep coming thick and fast. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Matthew for joining me, and of course, come on, you R's.
We know who we are. You know who we are. We are QPR.